So on your phone or on your browser, text to the number 37607, the word moving forward without a PT1, and then you can text your responses onto this poll right here, or you can write it on the sticky notepad, whichever works better for you. For PT1 and for Jam, if you can, either use your phone or your browser to type in your response, and it'll probably show up here on the screen. Okay. So text, if you go to the browser or on your phone, and the phone text to the number 37607, the word moving forward without the D221, and then it will roll you into the online poll EV. And then afterward, you can text your responses. Just a few minutes on that. John, are you typing the responses on the poll EV?
I'm typing on the chat on Zoom.
Or you type in the chat? So if you can share some of the responses, since we can't see it on the projector. And I want to go real quick and share the reason why you want to become a certified project success instructor. All right.
So not only do I understand myself, I want to educate people too.
So I'm circle, make it faster. So share. Okay. And those online, if you want to jump and share.
Yes, I want to help more kids to learn needed skills to navigate difficult life and have purpose in life.
Okay. And if you want, what's your reasons you want to be a certified project success instructor?
Yes, give me a moment, please. So can I just type on chat?
Yeah, you can type on the chat.
Okay.
So if you respond via the poll, it's anonymous, so no one knows your response. So that's another perk. If you want to respond anonymously. Okay. So that gives you an option. Okay. Yeah, right.
All right. Positive change in the life of others. However, to overcome personal barriers and
Okay. We can go on to the next question. Is what do you want to learn today to better prepare you to be effective project success instructor? If you want to be anonymous, you can text or type, or you can write and respond. It'll be fastest. Okay, for PT1, she says to help more kids learn needed
Oh,
skills.
oh,
Navigate
sorry.
life. No worries. Okay. We'll go over a little bit what project success is. Now that you have some responses here. If you want, you can put it knowledge you want to develop. We'll put it on the page for now. What kind of skill you want to develop? We'll put it under the text. And then what kind of attitude you want to develop? And that goes under the PSA. So want to learn, what I want to learn, I do, and don't know what I can improve on in order to become an effective instructor. If those who want to go on the sticky note, share a little bit. Ready to go.
I just for my listening skills. That's why I say I listen to people talk about personal.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, to understand the challenges of obstacles of mental health awareness, how to overcome them and become good. Yeah, there's
I would say find better coaches and listen, to listening. That can be improved and find better ways.
they deliver material in a short, clear, and effective way in Vietnamese. Okay. Okay. So as you to build the block in a central active house. I get a feeling that with the project success, the important part to pay attention to for project success is that it's 20 essential life skills. These are the 20 essential life skills that I have identified as to be most effective in helping the individual de-escalate some crisis. But in the course of reflecting upon 20 essential life skills, I believe those who possess or master these 20 essential life skills, they can succeed in any aspect of their life, in their personal life, academic life, social life, family life, and professional life. So these are the skills that I've implemented in the field during my 13 years as crisis field responder in the field. And I've noticed that those who experience crisis want to implement these skill set, and I taught them their situation de-escalate. They need to go to the hospital. So these are the skills that I hope that if we develop early on, can prevent crisis. But at the same time, it will give every one of us and the students, our graduates in the future, the tool that's important for them to be able to succeed. Imagine how can any one of us focus in school or work if we are stressed and we can't manage it, if we have a toxic relationship, if we can't motivate ourselves, right? If we have a bullying or hostile work environment or home environment, right? So those are all the essential skills that if we can master those, we can prevent crisis, but we can also help us to succeed. So with that, I'm going to pass over to Melissa.
So we're going to start with those of these we review things have been already known to you. So specific review just in case you want more education, so you have a better understanding. So as most of the parties in have been life skills, and then each life skill has 4 sub lessons. That's a total of 8 lessons. So our main goal of our success is to develop the personal development and master essential skills to overcome many mental health challenges. There's like a lot of growth in your what you want to learn, what you want to get out of it. So the overview of our success is basically customized. So like Paul explained earlier, a lot of what he came up with was from his background in the mental health field. And we've seen that a lot of the life skills that we have put together. The students can use, like you said, in social settings, at school, anywhere like that. So moving on with it, or moving forward. The content for Project Success has 20 life skills, and there are 3 phases. The next one will show you all the phases. And obviously, Project Success is really big on the KSA model, where the K stands for knowledge, S skill, and then A attitude. And we're going to go into this a little bit more. I just want you to, we're going to say this a lot. So a lot of the first lessons of Project Success will be more knowledge-based. And as you move to day 4 of the first lesson, you will get into attitude-based. And the attitude is the most important one, because if you cannot live and breathe it, you know, it's not going to stick to them. So, for example, if you practice gratitude, right? You can just write, I'm thankful for my mom, I'm thankful for my dog, my dad. And that's more of a knowledge skill. But if you take that deeper, what about your mom? What about your daughters? What about your home makes you feel it? So you go to a deeper level and then you practice it as an attitude base. It's going to be very evident in the way we approach, or the students approach, any mental health or life things that are thrown at them. So these right here are the essential life skills. So I'm going to kind of prepare you a little bit. The group that you're actually sitting with will be the group that you're going to be working with throughout this week, and on the following Sunday on May 1st, you guys will be presenting a lesson of your choice. So you'll be picking from these. So this is phase 1 of the 9 lessons. You have 5 lessons, and then the remainder here in master. The lessons that you're going to choose from are here, and you're like, oh, I'm going to see this. You're not going to be able to, you're going to do the first day of the lesson, so that way you're not jumping into the attitude portion of the lesson. So you guys will be choosing from these, we will provide time later in the day for you guys to pick one if you want, and then send it to your range, or you know, present it. Once you guys complete Project Success, you guys will have access to the complete alignment. So if you are teaching or at a tutoring center, or you are tutoring on time, everything with Project Success is aligned with the standards. Standards actually have been written in 2008 and have the most current one. So Project Success is aligned with the standards, the framework, the social and emotional learning guidelines. Most public schools do use SELs and the universal design for reading guidelines for UDLs. And once you guys do complete it, there is a whole thing that explains what each of these are in more depth. You have access to all of those things. And then I goes the same with assessments. There are two types of assessments. We have the curriculum, so right before you start project success, or students start project success, they're going to take like a very general, just to kind of get a baseline of their overall understanding of the 20 different lessons that we have. And then at the end, we will also take it, and then we also have mini assessments at the beginning on day 1 of a lesson, and then also on day 4. And these assessments are so crucial, not just for you as an instructor, because you need to be able to assess your students, you know, what do they know when we start a lesson, and then how far have they grown. So let's say someone is very knowledgeable already. Like let's say, you know, obviously you're very knowledgeable at boundaries. So your level of understanding might be more. You might not be at the knowledge, you might be at the skills. So, but as an instructor, we're going to push our students to go from knowledge to skills. So when we do those assessments, it helps you as an instructor, but also helps us as project success, because then we can continue to refine and tune and make it better and get better. You'll have access to all of those things once it's completed. Now we're just going to briefly go over the strategies. This is actually going to be important for you guys today, because let's say you were looking at, you know, lesson 4, which is healthy boundaries, for example. We'll do lesson 1. So in positive emotions and thought, that's the title for lesson 1. These are all of the concepts and strategies that are unique to project success. So if you are looking for, I really want to focus on like self-talk, even though that's not the title of the lesson, it is one of the strategies that we covered. And as you can see, each one of these is a building block. So we're learning the first couple lessons are more knowledge-based lessons, obviously in the beginning, early phase. But as you go through, you're going to see different strategies, different concepts. So this will be also very helpful for you guys when you're discussing with your groups what lesson you want to. Because I don't really want to. Let's say you really want to learn about resiliency and emotional regulation, then you can find those and fine tune what you guys want. So this is a little document, you guys have access to it. So when you guys do break up into groups, you guys can go on your email, pull up the document, and you guys can go from there. And then we're going to go over the DSA a little bit more in depth. Obviously, the first chart you guys saw was very basic, where we have the knowledge, skills, and attitude. So the knowledge is basically just being able to understand and recall basic skills. Then we go on to the actual skills that we're going to be able to apply it. So we're going to see, are they proficient or are they not? Once they kind of reach that proficiency, then we go and add it, because they're taking their knowledge and skills and they're combining them, and they are living it, breathing it. You can tell that they are, and that's what we're going to go focus on. And then the one down here, what Project Success did was we took the KSA model and we kind of broke it down to the key concepts that Project Success utilizes throughout all 20 lessons. So the K is going to be recognize and retrieve. So you're going to, as an instructor, this is very important that you understand this, you know, like the back of your hand, you've got to know these things, because it helps you not only informally and formally assess your students, but it helps see how much, you know, they can grow, the potential they have. So when you recognize and retrieve, it's going to be more of who you're going to be defining your problem, recognizing your problem, defining it. Skills, we're going to practice our, you know, we're going to take the steps, we're going to reflect thinking, and that's going to bring in the meaning, attitude, gratitude, support system. And this is actually very crucial throughout Project Success. Because we're not starting at day 1, lesson 1 with you guys, when we jump into teaching you lesson 4 today, we're going to teach it as if you guys already have been in Project Success. So what we're modeling is not day 1 of Project Success. We're modeling lesson 4 of day 1. So I will front you with a little bit when we say support system. Support system, in the beginning of Project Success, they have defined, each student has defined who their support system is. It could be a friend, it could be an auntie, a mom, a grandma, a neighbor. You can have multiple support people in your life. You guys, friends, family, anything. And for me personally, when I'm having a problem, I turn to my dad as the soundboard. I turn to my friend to PT1. So we're going to teach the students how to be able to define their needs and be able to communicate them to their support system. And say, hey, do you have the capacity to say, do this for me? Can you just listen, or can you give me information? And that's a whole lesson for project success. Moving on to the key for project success. When you actually look at a physical lesson, so these are like the lesson will look like this. You guys already have been sent something that looks like this. Here, you would notice that you have photography. So it means something. So it's easier for the instructor to kind of go through. These are what the instructor saying. These are more directions, the objective, activity, and so on. And color coding. It helps a little bit. It's mainly the red that we're going to be using. And then the acronyms, these are pretty important. So you'll see acronyms around the room as well. So I'm going to go over these just in case. Key lesson plan. Students will be able to, this is the objective, and many teachers use it in a classroom that we know in the district. Obviously, homework, worksheet, and SSD is the support system that we discussed. So they go home usually twice, 2 to 3 times a lesson. And they get to go home to their support system, whether it's on the phone, FaceTime, text, or in person. And then they get to discuss the different things that they learned and bring it home and open up bigger discussions.
Not yet. I know we went through a lot of information really quick.
Yes.
That's a lot of content. And I imagine all of you have a chance to review all of those documents thoroughly. So I expect for you to memorize all that information. Because it is an accelerated training, we want to give you a lot of information ahead of time. Typically for this training, it's going to be a week long, so that we can slowly digest, because you are getting trained to be instructed. So it's not just taking all the information and the content, but to be comfortable and confident enough to have the technique to transfer that knowledge, transfer the skill, and transfer the attitude onto our students. And the training format that we have, that's the reason why we have a 2 to 3 team member training format. Because all of us, like when we go to school, either we have a classroom of 30 students and 1 teacher, or 15, depending on the private school or not. Here we have a maximum 15 students for 3 instructors. And each 3 instructors have different roles. Training format have 3, at least 2, best have 3. The reason why is we always have a primary. The primary is focused on teaching, right? That's like what we switch back and forth. The secondary will be the one who's navigating the system, either the technology part or whether we take a note of making observation. And so that during the break time as instructor, we consult with each other, hey, this has to slow back, slow down, and be able to adjust this. And then we have a third person like Brian here, who's our provider. Most of the topics that we discuss, it can be triggering. So when it's triggering, someone makes feel uncomfortable. And so we want to be able to create an environment where students say, if you start out, process a little bit, that's okay. And then when he or she steps out of the room, the third person, the learner, will be the one who's going to check on her one-on-one. And so in that way, we try to maximize learning. And learning cannot be achieved if people are anxious. The people are scared, right? If people are turned off, right? So that's the reason why primary, secondary instructor will be very important. And for John and on San Jose area, you guys are going to be looking together in person, right? So that way there can be a team of 2, right? The third person is very simple techniques, right? Just mainly doing a psychological first aid. Not just for teaching, but curriculum. And so that's the main important part. That's the training format for a team of 2 to 3 instructor or team member. And when we come in here, we don't, even though I'm using a lot of instructor, ideally we want to use facilitator. Because we want to apply what's called the 80-20 rule. But 80% is coming from the students, and only the facilitators only do the talking, more the teaching only 20% of the time. And so 80-20 is how do we pool information? How do we facilitate so that the students can be actively engaged? And the best way to retain information is when a student many of our senses as possible. From our visual, right, from our hearing, from our appetite, from our smell, right, from our movement. So let's say, for example, let's take this next example. Say, right now, all information that Melissa and I just shared with you is a lot. Right? I'm pretty sure at this moment, somebody is looking away. That's just what I'm signing for. Right? And so that's perfectly fine. We will work with you, right? And so as part of, as an instructor, we will be there with you, consulting you, training, providing additional support. And as you do more of this training, you get more comfortable, right? Some of you have done tutoring already, so you all of you, right? Have done tutoring? No? But you don't know who hasn't done tutoring, right? Have you? No? So that's two. So two of you have done tutoring, but you got a baby step. Baby step will help people to learn information. Now, with this external skill set, and be able to come and help someone facilitate that process to be able to learn the essential life skills. Okay? So I just want to go back and then quantify KSA. Right? KSA is very important because what's the point of putting all of this preparation in? Of coming here early and driving here to take this training? Of us preparing and training, if the information and knowledge that we transfer is not a mistake. Right? What's the point of helping you develop skill if you're not going to utilize the skill? It's a waste of time, resources, but also, as for us, whatever we do, we want to maximize, optimize impact. And so therefore, we have to go to the deepest level of learning, which is the attitude level. How can we, words, strategy, be able to bring in this skill that you're learning today is relevant to you? Have some. Like for example, later on when we'll do a mock training of boundary, healthy boundaries. Right? Automatically, we're going to ask you the question like, how does healthy boundary relevant to you? What does healthy boundary look like? What's unhealthy boundaries? Have you experienced healthy? Have you witnessed it? Right? Asking questions to bring it straight to your personal life. So that way you create a relevancy. And so that way we have a motivation to learn. Right?
And as it was created, unintentionally, I realized that as I was doing this lesson, I was and so then the information, not just the knowledge, I have the skills. Oh, that's okay. I started to have that. I feel like my purpose. I was having more healthy boundaries. So this curriculum is not just very beneficial for your students, but it's very beneficial for you. And a lot of you in the beginning said you wanted to see what your knowledge was and your skill set was, and this will be an amazing tool. And for me, it's very transformative for my life and the relationships that I have professionally and socially in my life.
I also want to take this opportunity because even though most of you already know each other, we want to really demonstrate. So for this was the first day of class. If this is your first day of class teaching, what are some of the elements that's important to be able to establish together? So what did you observe when you came in? Were you welcome? Right? Was the class prepared? And then once two students sit in, some will be shy, some extrovert, some introvert. How did you engage? How do you facilitate engagement? And then because this is going to be a lot of sharing and exposure, how do you set up an environment where people feel safe to share, to be themselves? So with that, I'm going to invite you to spend about 2-3 minutes, right? Reflect a little bit about what we just discussed, and then to go back again to the same question as to why and what, right? Why you want to be an instructor, and what you want to learn, right? And the what, focus on what knowledge you want to learn, what skills you want to develop, what attitudes you want to obtain, right? For foster learning. So once you have that, you can either put on there on you can stick it on the board, and then for TQ on and for come if you hear us. the information that we share earlier, there's a lot of information. So right now we actually get to reflect again. If this is your first day of class, right, and you're training, you're teaching the students, we're gonna model or setting that learning environment. Like, what do you need for you, a student, to feel safe to learn? What's the best learning environment for you? So we're gonna start right now.
You know, the conversation, you know, I'm not student. I'm a student. You want them to write a case as an A to everyone?
Do you have any question, John or GQ1?
So the question is that if this is the first day that that I come to class, what is it that I need to learn the best? Is that the questions?
Oops. Can you repeat the sound is kind of low?
Oh, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. So the question is that if today is the first day I come to class, what is it that I need to do in order to learn the best? Is that correct?
Yeah. So this is for you. So this is as a student, what do you need for you to best learn? What's the best learning environment for you? And if you want, you can just text me the poll right now. So that way it appears on the screen. You can, once you're done, you can put it on the board. You can stand on the board and then you can read off. For those who are online, you can type in the chat room, or you could respond to the poll, and it will appear and be captured in the poll. And then you can all see on the poll as well. Once you're done, you can put it, sticky notepad or your note on the board.
Okay, so I thought that any point where it means that the rest of our practice you want me to have. Any questions?
That's what I said.
All right, here we are in the chat. Okay. Safe environment for me to be better prepared or better sound system. Yes, I agree. So this is a good feedback. I think next time we'll bring in the microphone. So that way it captures the audio for the whole group. Thank you, that's a great feedback. So that's also in the classroom setting. For example, if people are not hearing us, whether we are speaking too slowly or too softly, in the classroom mistake, how do we project our voice in a way that all our students can hear? At the same time, I can share for myself, sometimes the way people speak can also trigger me. Right? Sometimes I trigger like my dad when he's in the military. And so be mindful that when we speak, pay attention to our audience, our students. There are automatic responses would be a good indicator so far are they hearing us or not. Okay. Okay. Can you hear us better now online?
Yes, if
Okay.
you stay
I'm
here,
standing right next to you so you can hear me.
perfect. Clear and loud.
Okay, let's use this. The other part is for a learning environment. And this will be the same when we teach a class. What do you do to encourage participation? Right, what do you do? What would you like? Or multiple people are speaking at the same time. Yeah, so as an instructor, right, how do you facilitate that with the students? How do you set up the learning environment at the beginning? So can we have an agreement insofar as for learning is to be engaged? So what can we do to help you engage, to engage you? What can you do to engage yourself and your peer in the classroom? And this you can speak aloud, you don't have to write it down. What are some ideas? What are things for you that would be helpful to engage you? Okay. And the icebreaker, so activities, games to build bonding, right? Light. Any other ideas?
I'm personally not a fan of icebreakers.
Okay.
The class that really works personally for me. I do have one class where we do that, and I that I'm a lot more confident participating within that class because being in a group is about the and just being more comfortable.
So that's great. What I've just observed right now is a great demonstration of safety. That you feel safe enough to be able to listen. I prefer and as an instructor, right, for you to create an environment where, hey, it's okay to have disagreement. It's okay to have different ideas. When those disagreement become disruptive in class, will become counterproductive for the learning environment. Can any of you imagine a scenario where that may happen. Whether the disagreement on the ideas may become destructive or counterproductive. And those online can share too. You are here with us. Any ideas? So let's say, for example, Lisa is adamant, hey, let's do an icebreaker. And so Lisa said, no, thanks. Or she won't even say anything, she just sit there, for example. But it's a passive way of saying no. People are standing up, doing an icebreaker, she just said, doing her own thing. Or she gets up, but she won't become engaged or active. So as instructor, because here you're both students and instructor. So as instructor or facilitator, you notice that. How would you like to be able to address that, help facilitate that process? So let's say, I'm gonna pick a new thing, okay? If that were to happen, what's the best way for me as a facilitator to better engage you?
It's for all the stuff, you know, what sort of understanding, they're finding that, still finding something there. I mean, just, if I was here with me, I clearly come with icebreaker, maybe more comfortable in the program that's less of a challenge, and it's finding something that, that's not too much for me, but that's fine. A good compliment.
So one way, as you share, compromise is integrating that idea. Thus, we can do icebreaker in smaller group. Let's break into team, right? Team of three, team of three. The icebreaker here is do something within your team. Right? In small, once you're done, you move on to the next team, for example. But for here, because we are training for you to be trainer in triad, right? So we set you up where the three of you together will be getting ready to train together, to work together. And so building that dynamic, camaraderie will be important too. And also to recognize sometimes one activity may not be able to meet the needs of our whole group. So how can we find it? Let's say, for example, Alyssa wants to do the icebreaker sunset. Okay. How many here wants to play Simon Says?
I mean, I don't want to, but I'll do it.
Okay. Let's say Simon said, fine, $5. Right? Yes.
Well, sorry.
All right. Okay. That may be a passive way to say he's talking about. Right. But we maybe take one idea and modify it. And Simon said, or red light, green light, maybe a child is for little kids. But even adults, once you get to become an inner child again, that makes it a lot better as well. Right? And so finding activities that's light and non-intrusive, people can play, and we can play around the table only. Simon said around the table, first one to find someone who has a middle name that's a letter C. Whatever that may be, right? Come up with something that's light and unintrusive to engage for that aspect.
That's kind of how project is developed. I would like to teach, I was taught a strategy that I found very helpful in the classroom. We call it like the pyramid. So a student, I noticed that my students were more reserved or embarrassed or anxious. So then we would start with like a smaller group, or they would be individual partners or triad, and then class discussion. Or we flip the time, and we go from bigger all the way down to the smaller, so we have time to reflect on stuff. So it's a newer concept. And if we're trying to assess their knowledge, for example, what we'll do is we'll try to have them do individual first, then they share with a partner. Then they have more confidence to share in front of a class. So that's like a little triangle strategy, and that's perfect for something like this. You know, it's more like individual, let's gather our thoughts and let's see, you know, what skills we have collectively, and then they can demonstrate it, whether that's on an individual level or you guys can demonstrate
we have empowered you, each of you, even though this may not be your idea, we're going to empower you, we're going to pay attention to the group setting, to structure. If you notice that we covered the topic, for example, we will take this and put it on that. So this would be like the accomplishment, the finish line. Right? So if you feel like this has been addressed, but I've learned this now, this has been addressed today, I'll take this over here, physically move to the clip.
And it doesn't have to be yours. If you were just walking by and you see that it has been covered, you could take someone else's and just put it on there.
And so that way we are integrating movement, right? We're integrating visual connection. But also we're encouraging auditory participation attention. And if we pay attention to observe, we learn, we put it up over here. And then at any point, if you feel that you want to have additional questions, you can write this back here. So that with the learning process is very organic. And it's very personable. It's your knowledge that you want to learn. Right? You set the course. Let's do this. And as the instructor, as facilitator, we are here to help facilitate you to achieve that goal. Okay. So with that being said, let's spend some time. I'm going to follow Jum's idea, right, of introducing ourselves. We're rushing through this right now. So if we could go around, introduce a little bit about maybe with some of those who are online. Jump first, right? Share 1 or 3 sentences about yourself. You can choose whatever topics, whatever you want to share that's comfortable for you. Jam or PT1, want to share first? You can be humorous if you want in your sharing. Oh, are you typing your response?
You want us to share, what is it I cannot hear?
Yeah, share anything about yourself to the group. So this is part of the introduction.
Oh, okay.
As
Yeah,
a over here, instructor here, to get to know your, so you know your strength, interest, whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Okay. So my name is Tram. I am short. I do not know how to play sport, but I love snowboarding. I'm not good at it though, but I love snowboarding. I have 2 little boys, and I am living and working currently in San Jose.
Thank you. You can popcorn to the next person.
Melissa.
I'm an educator, and I taught for about 6 years, and then changed the course, and then and I started classing into testing, and I wrote on the course. I loved it, and I there. I'm so excited for this to start. I'm very happy that you started after this time that great stuff. What else is there?
Yeah, we're gonna get popcorn.
Brian?
With Ryan, I used to work with Paul. He basically drove me here. He convinced me to share the vision with it. I was excited. Energy. So I would want him support his mission by helping friends, which is what I also do in my other work. So, get it in.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy. I am currently a senior at UCLA
just finished watching Bridgerton. Go see this. I'm currently looking for something else to watch on Netflix. So if anyone wants to come to pictures, I would love to see yours. I've been I'm excited to strengthen my weaknesses and my skill set. And yes, Bridgerton is really good, guys. And if you should watch Actually, I'm senior at one week, graduated this semester. I love dogs and I refuse to watch Bridgerton. Hi, I'm from Georgia. I've been for 5 years. I started in marketing right after I graduated from Massachusetts and so marketing and offer. I also worked in a master's
All right. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. Oh, do you want to share? Oh,
Yes. Yes, my name is Juan. I'm living in Atlanta. I'm married with 3 girls, and I'm in Atlanta, but I will move into Cali very soon with you guys.
can you repeat?
Can't you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now? Yes, my name is Juan, and I'm living in Atlanta. I'm married with 3 girls, 3 teenagers, and I'm moving very soon to Cali with you guys, so that I hope that one day I will be in person class with you all.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Well, my name is Paul. I'm about to cancel my Netflix. I'm protesting Netflix. I'm canceling my subscription. I love what I do, and all potential courses. I've seen one too many suicide. I myself have attempted suicide 3 times. Fortunately, I'm still alive. And yeah, so that's enough hardship in the world, there's enough bitterness, there's enough pain. And if I can have a place, I have a role to help bring some light and joy and affect some positive change in the world. That's what my thought. Right. So with that, thank you. Let's take a quick break. Give a 15-minute break to restrooms over there to the left. Right? The joy of being on site here is the restroom right here.
We're going to, in this setting, we're not going to be your facilitators for training. We're going to be going straight into the lesson, and we're going to talk to you, and we're going to pretend that you've already done like 1, 2, and 3 with us. Okay, so like again, I just want to make sure it's not like, oh, well, that's already established. We're going to jump into the first lesson.
There's food, room, drinks. Yeah. Get your blood flowing, get tired. Get some sugars, sleep in the system. And for those who are online, you just have to watch your feet.
Yeah.
All right. Who's sharing the donuts? See. Now what are you?
Okay, Paul.
Crisis.
Wow.
And the good content.
Yeah, I started watching Netflix for a while too.
Melissa?
Oh,
I just started watching it. Yeah. But I'm still stuck on it. Okay, don't. I don't know.
Please don't cancel subscription. Sweet.
I don't know why I said.
Yes, I know. We went out bad this week. So I need to stay.
I wanted to do, red and blue, but I was like, no, but let's do plastic 14 colors. And then I'll put this back there for me. Do you want quality instruct? Do you want me to pop this up for us, or do you want to just tend to this? It is front and back. I just want to put it really good. So that with I'll do it there.
What was this will be okay.
Be honest. Okay.
So
That's what I want. And then, because we don't have the right one printed, just remember, you get the directions. Remember how you wrote them? It's not on.
Okay.
So you can move it.
Yeah, it's all.
Ryan already has the list just because Melissa is on.
Yeah,
it.
it's like,
I have a-
Get out of the job.
Give her eyelash. Stop talking. That's one of them. Just small.
Sit down and shut up.
Okay, that's what I was gonna do too. I'm gonna- I run it, Martin. Okay. Oh, I have to take that.
Oh.
Or that's fine, or we're not. When I go. You want me to stop it here so I can. And then put- And then we'll.
Oh.
Sure, I think you're- Anybody do that? Yeah. I just want to- What was your plan? Going in. Yeah. Yeah. No. It's still recording. Okay. I'm saying, is it just you got through something? Is that-
No. Also, before we start, when you guys do your presentation, you guys can have a little bit, little group of how we want to start these, and we'll see when you guys get your lesson plan. So like, let's see, your group decided to put your guys are in first. You guys can have everybody set outside and you demonstrate what that looks like, you know, the students coming to the class, greet them, asking them where to sit. What you guys want to do. First day of the day, you start like this, but just for your kind of day. So what we're demonstrating today will be an insight of the skills and attitude for the next year. So a lot of people from the teaching background or training background or tutoring or things like that. So that's where you guys see the different dynamics that we might take different role, kind of all those things. We're just
Which one I do?
And Duan, are you back? Put your hand on your head and you can hear my voice.
These are the big ones, like closed mouth open ear.
Everyone, eyes on me. And you get them, I was in the school with the sister and I was like, oh, no. On the table.
when I talk to from an eighth and high school, which is the dynamics are so different. Started like first, second grade, and I remember helping her. I was like, no. No. And she's like, well, I can't teach over here. Like, oh, that's easy. Little ones do. Yeah. It's like, no. All prior to COVID. Please don't. Anyway.
I think we have about
In the meantime, if any of you guys have your laptop or your printing out, you guys can let me know. Have to you guys or the 20 best lists of what and have to brainstorm. To eat and come together. In the meantime, while we're waiting for them to sign on.
So for the 20 essential life skill, the early phase here, there are 9 lessons, a life or 9 essential life skill right here under the early phase. Right, positive emotion and thoughts, stress identification, emotional regulations and resilience, healthy boundaries. We'll be going through that. Social media dependency, Netflix dependency, Korean K-pop, K-drama, right? The power of being effortless decision making and prioritizing. So designing your group, right? And then you'll be teaching either a pair of 2 or 3.
And you guys are. Oh, I'm just kidding. Which one are you?
What days?
You guys want to second that? All right.
Yeah. Okay, so for this next part, we'll do a mock. Okay. We'll do a mock training for the day 1 of lesson plan 4. So you want to go?
Hi, everybody. If I can have your attention over here real quick, we're going to begin today's lesson. And up here, just so we can go over how we are all
effective strategies to develop and maintain healthy boundaries and to know when an unhealthy situation arises and when it's okay to, kind of say no. So we have two essential questions that we're going to be answering today. So throughout our lesson, we will be answering what is the personal boundary and what are the three boundary styles. And these are correlated with the objectives. So by the time you leave today, students will be able to identify the concept of a personal boundary and then identify the three boundary styles. So before we leave today, we will make sure we have met these objectives. And this is the agenda we will be following. We're going to be doing 3 activities. We're going to have an evaluation of what we have learned, a little group discussion, and then a quick explanation of your support system, homework that you guys will be doing tonight. Are there any questions about our essential questions or objectives today? What is the first objective we will be doing? Anybody? Anybody? Out loud. You got this. Thank you. Amazing. What's next? Come on, everybody. Identify. Oh, we're going to say PT1 again. What's the first one? Identify. And identify.
So if you look at the screen again, right, and then online you can see the share screen. For every lesson plan, this is what it looks like. Okay, so the title, the lesson, the essential question, the objectives, as I live my list right here. The other one component is missing here, we'll add on, is the material, the supply. So every lesson will require different material supplies. So that as instructor, if you were just to receive this lesson plan alone, can you go off on your own just with that sheet? So we're saying, hey, you need to print out worksheet A, B, C, and D. You need to bring your laptop, you need to bring name placards. And it's getting annoying. Slower. I'm too close to that one. Back to. So on the screen, you'll see the style, the objectives, and then the other component down here is going to be the material. The material will consist of whatever you need to effectively teach that lesson. Right. So for when we go back and review this, we're going to add that on to you that when you for next week, you have all the supplies needed. Right. So whatever that's there, you have to prepare for yourself. And again, today we're only doing day 1. So with that, I'd like to start and invite each of you to just close your eyes. Spend some time today, we'll talk about healthy boundaries. And I invite all of us to be able to give us some permission to be here, present, and some permission to connect with ourselves. That will help us to be able to connect to others and our environment. So for the next few questions I'm asking you this prompt, all you need to do is listen and respond to this prompt on your own at this moment. First, what do you think of when you hear boundary? So be aware of your thoughts. What do you think of when you hear the word boundary? Next, I invite you to picture in your mind, what do you picture when you hear the word boundary? Once you have the image in your mind, Now, lastly, I'd like for you to respond to the question, what do you feel when you hear the word boundary? First, you're aware of your thoughts. Next, you're aware of the images that come to you. Lastly, you're aware of your emotions. So when you hear the word boundary, what thoughts, automatic thoughts come to you? What automatic images come to you? As well as what automatic feelings come to you? So now in your small group, you can open your eyes. And then for John and Joanne, you can share to chat online, the text back and forth, or you can talk as well. That's fine. So in your small group, go ahead and discuss and share your experience. So what,
Here's the process, here's the stuff. We have what did you think of, what did you picture, what did you feel, what emotions arose, and why did you think the way you did? And what was your first reaction of hearing what Paul's prompts, and then why did you feel the way you did? So we're gonna take some time to discuss amongst yourself, and then we'll have a little class discussion once you're done.
Yeah. I pictured this box. This box.
Mine was, yeah, quarter. That was something.
If I can have your attention. If I can have your attention, please, everyone finish up in their groups about, we're gonna discuss a little more. So discussing amongst the three of you, what was the overall thing that you guys thought of? Was it universal? Did everyone think the same thing, or did you guys all have different things? Anyone want to share, like, on behalf of their group, you know, not specifically what each person shared, but maybe, what was your overall observation about what you guys thought of the boundary? Thank you.
Yeah, mine was, and on the other side, you can't cross that line because you gotta respect the other person.
I like that, yes. Okay,
It's like you can't enter.
so like a physical thing. Yes, okay, okay. That's true.
I think that when it comes to the image, they have, you know, similar idea, the line.
The line.
As well. But overall, I think like when it comes to the feelings attached to the word boundary, I think for most of us, like we have different perspective and needs.
And who in here feels sometimes you hear the word boundary and initially you get almost like an anxiousness? I know I used to, before I did this lesson, I hear boundary and I'm like, I feel uncomfortable telling someone no. Because I grew up in a family where it was, you're supposed to, someone says jump, you say how high and how long. And so with my family, I realized I really didn't have healthy boundaries. I was more porous, which we will go into later. When you feel, hear the word boundary, what did you feel collectively? A different person from this group, if you can share collectively. Your group, did you guys feel similarly, different things that came around?
I think we all felt different things,
Mhm.
but I think it was very based on how was brought.
Like experiences. So the way you experience boundaries may be different from one of your partners in the group. And right.
I think, yeah, overall, it was just based on our personal history with setting boundaries.
And that's 100%. We're going to get into all of those things in here. What different emotions arose when you guys were hearing boundaries? What are some of the words? If you can put one word. One word. Any, when you hear boundaries.
Rejected.
Huh?
Like kind of like rejected. Like what did I do?
Ooh, like a rejection. Good. Any word. When you hear boundary, what do you like? What's a feeling? Or an emotion? Any emotion that you feel. Do you feel safe, unsafe? Question, not question. I see you thinking, does it depend on the person?
Yes.
Oh, I like that. Anyone here? An emotion that you feel when you hear boundary.
I feel really
Believe, good. When you cut off, you find more peaceful, don't you? Especially as we're getting older, yes. So what we're gonna do now is with your small group again, I want you guys to, in a sense, define what a boundary is. So we talked about what we feel, what we think, what we, you know, emotions and feel and all these different things. But now let's go ahead and take all those things and articulate it into an actual definition. So if you need to, you can write it on your Post-it, or you guys can individually write them and then come together. This is your besties for the day. So what is a boundary? So we're gonna do two. I want to know what a boundary is and what a personal boundary is. And to you, is there a difference? Is there not a difference? It may be the same thing. What is a boundary? What is a personal boundary? You guys can discuss it, write it, discuss it. You guys have a couple minutes to discuss.
I just have food in my system. So what is a boundary?
If you were to define what a boundary is in a nice sentence, and if you don't want no, like this group, they're writing, this group, you're not. Like, that's fine. You don't even have to write it. It's in a different way. How are you guys doing over here? All right, we're going to share what online has. I step out of the way here. We have different things like respect, circle. Oh, wait. We're good now? We have some different definitions coming in from our other guests here. We have respect, like a circle around me to protect. Oh, you're gonna have to translate that for me. I can try, but it's not gonna go well.
I'm gonna switch it.
Okay. You wanna do that one first? Okay.
So, okay, I'm gonna go from the top okay. From Q1, she said something as boundary, something you cannot go out of. For jump is respect, circle around. Right, so protect and safe once I have boundaries and when others respect my boundary, but scary when I have to set it up sometime. For Q1, it's cannot go out of a circle, it's restriction, right? Similar to what the other group share. Mọi người đang thảo luận và cậu em nó lên hả? Huh? You have to explain what that means if you want. Okay, boundaries, a set of rules, agreements that will set among each other. Okay. Anything else, Jikawan or John want to share? Those are all great responses of boundaries. Right. Since you went first and we share your ideas and your responses, the others cannot copy.
Ooh.
Plagiarism.
Real.
We are setting boundaries.
We set boundaries with you guys. You guys would like to share? What did you guys come up with for boundary or personal boundaries or both? Anyone in this group first? Exactly. So at work, we may have a different type of boundaries versus at home, in our home life, our friend circle, etc. I really like that. Thank you. You guys, personal
journey, I can expect you. And personally, also, you don't get hurt in the future. You want to set yourself up.
Exactly, and then we're gonna go into how to communicate that thus far, but I think Paul has a definition of a personal boundary. And a boundary,
Maybe.
maybe not, we're gonna see right now. Here you go.
See, when my bar is not long enough, then I have to be able to patch it. What do you see here? A line, right? What does this line do? How does it impact the environment? Okay. So if this is the way, and let's say, for example, Sharon, can you come and grab some candy here and be able to pass it out to your peer? Those you think, give it to the people you like the most.
You want me to get the candy?
No, get a candy and pass it out to people you like.
Do you want me to cross the line?
Hmm?
Do you want me to cross the line?
Well, it's up to you. How would you go around and do it?
I would go around, but I would prefer not to.
Right. Okay. Okay. That's one way, right? That may be, but right now I'm pretty tired. My legs, my hip hurt, so I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna ask if you can get that plate of candies and pass it out. Anyone in the room that you feel done a good job today.
Hello.
Right? Okay. So I sense some hesitancy, some ambivalence, some confusion. When in our life have there been moments where we're confused? Right? Either in personal relationship or in physical relationship to an object or to a location. Right? I'm confused. Can I cross over to this other side, whether there's a boundary or not? Here, because it's physical, it's visible. I'm sure you can see, yeah, you can see on the TV as well. So this is a physical boundary. We can see it. We can see its quality, right? Which can help me to determine if I need to break through my work, right? But she was kind and respectful when she asked, "Can you help? Do I have permission to cross?" Right? Even though there's nothing here written that you can't say she can cross. Nothing here that's visibly saying that she can't just stand apart. The fact that I just lay this down, and imagine I'm not even in the room, this just exists. Right? And I think you guys, those who've gone to church or events where they have rows of chair, tape off, right? How many here, no one's watching, come in to take it out and walk inside the bathroom? All right? Right? Church is crowded, I don't have time to wait. This is reserved, not for me. Right? So this is one example of a physical boundary. Something that is visible. Something that also is physical, you can also determine the quality of that boundary. Whether it's, if I were to put a sign says no trespassing, would that be more, I guess, clear? Because there's no sign here, right? You can go across, you can go under, you can even step over, you can go through. There's no instruction, there's nothing there. So in a relationship, whether it's with our family, with our friends, with our peer, at work, at school, with our spiritual director, with our figure of authority, with cops. Anyone who we interact with, there's a boundary. Some of that is physical, other is more invisible. So let's say, for example, once I remove this physical space, and now one of the challenges of not having a physical or clear boundary, and we see this happen since social media come about. There's no virtual boundary either. People log online. You can't find out where I am. Potentially, I have no consequences. If for this I perceive that I have no consequences, you can't find me. I can bully you, I can make threats. I can do things that, at least in my mind, I perceive that I'm anonymous. I'm safe. Now that I have removed this physical boundary, what other boundaries exist around me? Any boundary? The wall, right? The wall gives us a physical boundary, right? Of what's in this room that we rent or can rent. Right? If there was a boundary. Not a reaction.
I'll do instant replay.
I don't get what is this?
Personal goal.
Oh.
And you can see by her body language, not only with her face, but now look at her demeanor, she's a little farther back from the chair.
Just really uncomfortable. Right? Right? What happened? What can you do in that moment? When you feel your physical, your personal space has been either trespassed or violated. You speak up, you take action. The other part is how do you know if it's safe or not? Here we're talking about this emotional or social boundary. If it's psychological abuse, emotional abuse, like physical abuse, how do we establish that clear boundary? So if someone at home is experiencing domestic violence, whether it's a child witnessing between the parents, or someone experiencing their own life within the home sector. If someone is experiencing psychological or emotional abuse at work, or at school, either from a peer or from a supervisor, from someone who's got an authority over you. How do we set that boundary? I would not doubt all of us here will say it's important, right? You set down. Who here wakes up and says, I want my boundary to be violated? Right? None, right? But sometimes we do it subconsciously. So what are some factors that impair us to be able to set up a boundary? For a person to set up a boundary. Discomfort, okay. Anxiety, sense of obligation. What is it? Dependent, okay. All great. Those are psychological, right? Cultural factors as well. Right? I can't say no to my parents because it would seem as disrespectful. Right? You guys have all probably watched that TikTok or video on Instagram, whatever, that's talking about the Vietnamese girl that got disowned by her family because she refused to fund her younger sister's lavish lifestyle. Right? And she was on the video crying. Now everything's online, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Every moment share. But that also sharing is fixing so far as here, she feels she can't say no. Right? She can't say no to her parents, and when she said no to her parents, and her parents disown her. So the fear of the consequences. Right? That's one of the reasons why a lot of women, a lot of men who are in a relationship with domestic violence, right? It's hard for them to separate because of the consequence. Some of that would be additional fear. If you ever leave me, I'm gonna either kill myself or I'm gonna kill you, the kids, your family. Some additional threats to hold them back. So imagine you have a tool. Imagine students have a tool to be able to start with them, to recognize the red flags, recognize there's different steps and process along the way to set up a boundary. Because no one built up the house on the first day. Right? We have to build the foundation. Then we need to build the framing, right? Run the pipes, run the electrical, put up the outside wall, put in the installations and everything else, right? And then put in the appliances. So it takes a process. So when we experience a relationship or a situation where a boundary is either not there or what's being challenged and validated, first and foremost, we have to establish is it safe physically for us first. If not, what can we do? If you are not physically safe to set up a boundary, what can you do? Call your lifeline. Right? Right? Who's your support system? Who's your lifeline? Who are the resources? What are the resources around you? So when you teach this and the students, right, these are the topics that's going to be triggering. Right? Some students you can see is going to be impacting them. So as a facilitator, we're not here just to teach and transfer, to care about students. So that's where the runner or the secondary instructor should be paid attention to, and so forth. After this, let's follow up with Shannon because I validated her boundary, right? And let's check in. Let's check in, right? Very subtle.
We'll do this. Oh, they're taking over. So what we're gonna do is you guys are gonna take the first worksheet and we're gonna explore our own boundaries. We're gonna think about different aspects of our life where what is welcome in our life and what is not. In order for us to communicate our boundaries, in order for us to set them up, we need to know what they are. So we're gonna take some time to explore. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over the directions if you guys can go over them with me. So like we discussed earlier, we all have different boundaries of what is welcomed and what is not welcomed in our life. So inside this box, you will write or draw, whatever your heart desires, what is welcomed. So this is what's welcomed in your life, okay? And then around here is gonna be what's not welcome. So think of this like your no trespassing, and this is the box, in a sense. Box is what's welcomed, outside, we don't like. So you guys are gonna go ahead and you guys can add to this worksheet the rest of the remainder of today or this lesson. And so like, let's say Alyssa writes something and then Ray sees it and she thinks, Alyssa says, like, oh, I didn't think about that. You can add it. So it's not a definite thing. So go ahead and take some time and then you guys are working individually. And you're just going to share within your group and then we're going to share out with the whole class. So go ahead and work on that a little bit.
This projector really great on the board. Power. Zoom.
Recording in progress.
Because like Paul was saying, sometimes our boundaries are physical, or we can physically see them. But personal boundaries, a lot of people don't know them until we're taking a moment now to figure a little dig deeper what our awareness of is of our own boundaries. You guys have a couple minutes. And I know some of you are just really trying to think, but what comes to mind? So some of you are stuck. Do you welcome someone calling you at midnight? I know I do. Phone's on silent at 8.
You kind of set it off, but if you want.
Right, probably another minute individually. We are gonna start sharing and probably getting more ideas from the partners. So people online, you guys can just write down like maybe a list of things that you do accept in your life and things you will not accept, so boundaries. You can write them in the chat or you can write them on your own. And we'll make sure to share them.
I'm so with yelling and nagging.
All right, you guys have one. Go ahead and start sharing with your group. And as you're sharing with your group, if you think of stuff, write more things down, or you can copyright from your neighbor. You guys probably have a couple minutes to share within your group, and then we'll share all together. And people online, you guys can take more time to read each other's comments.
So we just did it, start pressing.
You're going to just go over a little bit, just to reiterate and share. And then we're going to do this. And I'll explain it.
So, first,
And like this one, if you want it, like I do rigid, I do for it however you want to do it. Or I do
You can do it.
that way you can manage.
people are someone,
You always call
some people from the boundaries in the office. Then, and so, I want to feel comfortable. That's all I get. You got nothing in your box. Show up.
No solicitation from family.
Especially family.
You could get it.